the coffee pot gurgles and fills the kitchen with that rich morning aroma. Before the day begins in full swing, I savor that first sip and remind myself of Psalms 118:24. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Almost immediately, the boys come tumbling into the kitchen with sleepy smiles, and our home wakes up with energy and laughter. My mornings don't stay quiet for long, but that's the beauty of homemaking and homeschooling our boys. It's ordinary, loud, busy, sacred, and purposeful, all at the same time. Modern homemaking is a buzzword these days, which sort of bums me out because homemaking and caring for our children can be such a sacred thing. So today, we're going to do a refresh on what homemaking has the potential to be for us and the joy it can extend to us when rooted in Christ. Meanwhile, you'll see a peek into my homemaking as we take care of our homestead. I homeschool the kids. I feed them nourishing recipes like my einkorn puff pancake, which is a favorite around here for their lunch meal, and do some mundane tasks like laundry and cleaning. I'll finish the day off by harvesting onions in our onion patch with West and then make a cowboy casserole for dinner. Let's chat about homemaking in this modern age. Welcome to Healing Home. I hope you're encouraged and inspired by your time here. Lately, I've been rediscovering how life-giving it is to step outside right after my early work is finished. It resets my heart before our homeschool day begins. Often, I'll have a little hand tucked in mine as we head out to feed the chickens. On the boys' chore chart right now is pulling weeds for our growing pigs or picking plums from our 11 plum trees that are in full harvest right now. It's not their favorite job, but consistency has brought some hidden joy, I think. Wilder is usually right by my side, checking out the pigs, gathering eggs, and keeping a watchful eye on the ducks as they waddle around the yard. These are simple tasks, but they've become the backbone of our rhythm as a family and as a homemaker. Inside, there's always laundry waiting, loads to wash, laundry to hang on the line, meals to prepare, lessons to teach, and plenty of messes to clean up. But I've learned the truest heart of homemaking is not perfection. It's presence. It's choosing to see the holy in the ordinary. The term modern homemaking gets tossed around a lot. Sometimes it feels watered down, almost like a trend. Too often it paints a picture of pristine kitchens and perfectly curated routines. An aesthetic that's beautiful, but also unattainable for most families. And you know what? I enjoy making my space pretty, which maybe you already know about me. I like taking things that aren't really my style and turning them into something lovely. But modern homemaking isn't about keeping up with everyone else's picture-perfect vision. It's about creating a healing home, a place where my children find safety, joy, and laughter, a place where my husband feels supported and loved, a place where God's presence is felt in ordinary, everyday moments. And you know what? Just reality check. There's also days that are complete and utter chaos. We have a lot of those too, just to make sure I point that out. That's the kind of homemaking that makes my heart beat faster, because joy doesn't come from spotless countertops or trendy throw pillows. It comes from the peace of Christ dwelling richly within us. As Colossians 3:16 says, "Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs in thankfulness in your hearts to God." Modern homemaking is about what looks good on social media. It's about whether my home reflects God's love, grace, and welcome. Hey friends, I want to quickly share something that's been a game changer in our homeschool, reading.com. It's a step-by-step reading program that actually makes learning fun for my kids. What I love most is that it doesn't just throw a bunch of random phonics at them, it walks us through it together, so I get to be a part of the process. There are 99 lessons total that help your kids learn to read. Honestly, the program reminds me a lot of the book Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons, except it's an app-based program that is interactive for those that need more than a book. It's simple, effective, and gives me peace of mind that we're building a strong foundation. If you've been looking for a way to make reading click for your kids, I can't recommend reading.com enough.
Day meal when you be eating breakfast, a nap-ivore or a night meal later in the evening when you are likely to be in bed. Although today we have every imaginable food available to us in the grocery stores, Vikings, like most people at the time, had to make do with what they could grow or harvest from the land where they lived.
The Bible never uses the phrase biblical homemaker. So instead of trying to define something that the Bible doesn't directly name, let's look at the people who lived faithfully in their homes. Take Lydia in Acts 16. She was a businesswoman who opened her home for hospitality and ministry. Or the Proverbs 31 woman who is both admired and intimidating. She cared for her family, worked hard, and provided with wisdom. Our homes, like theirs, are meant to be healing spaces, not just for scraped knees or tired bodies, but for hearts, minds, and souls. As mothers, we often shape the rhythms and tones of our house. Like I've said, we are the thermostat of our home. I just love that imagery. Not always, but in many Christian homes, we are called to that role. And when I say healing, I don't mean medical healing. Jesus' healing went far beyond the physical. It touched hearts, restored minds, and renewed souls. What if our homes reflected that same kind of wholeness? A place of joy, of laughter, of learning, of worship, where everyone feels safe. Proverbs 14:1 reminds us, "The wisest of women builds her house, but folly with her own hands tear it down." That's the weight of the work we do as mothers. It's also the beauty of it. I once heard it said, the father is the head of the home, the mother the heart of the home, and the children are the hope of the home.
Mom, you get my puffy pancake.
Your coffee pancake?
When you say puff pancake,
Proverbs 4:23 says, "Keep your heart with all diligence, for from it flows the springs of life." The physical heart pumps life to every part of the body. In the same way, we have the potential as mothers and homemakers to nourish every corner of our home with love, peace, and presence. There's something deeply beautiful about what people called old-fashioned homemaking. To me, it doesn't mean pretending to live in another era. It means holding on to the timeless rhythms of home. I think about hanging laundry on the line, the breeze carrying the scent of clean cotton while the boys run through the yard. I think of stirring my cowboy casserole with the onions gathered from the garden, or rolling out sourdough biscuits as the house fills with their warm fragrance. It's textured and real. Muddy boots by the door, even though they drive me nuts. Homeschool books scattered across the table. Sticky lunch dishes waiting by the sink. Each of these small details become the canvas of home. Old-fashioned homemaking isn't about whether I sew my curtains or grind my flour, which, by the way, I don't do either of those things, even though it's on my bucket list. It's about love, faith, and peace. It's about seeing homemaking as an opportunity for worship, mirroring God's creativity as I cultivate life right here. Now, practically speaking, homemaking does need rhythms. Otherwise, the days can feel like chaos. But those rhythms don't have to be complicated. For me, meal planning has been life-giving, and I know I've talked about that a lot recently on this channel, but it's just because I found this new rhythm that just works so well for us. I used to resist it, but now I plan 1 week at a time, writing down seasonal family favorites, and then rotating them means that when 5 p.m. rolls around, I'm not scrambling. So on this particular day that you're seeing, I'm making cowboy casserole and sourdough biscuits, and those were already on the plan for this week, which I just found so freeing. Another rhythm that I find so helpful, and maybe you will too, is block scheduling out my day. And there's a lot of flexibility in this because I don't like being kind of like chained to a schedule. Instead of trying to do everything at once, I break the day into sections, like the morning farm chores, homeschool group time, individual lessons, then the homemaking reset of cleaning up and moving into the rest of the day. These rhythms, and I'm sure you have rhythms too, are what inspired me to create my homemaking planner, which I've shared before, and it's getting a refresh again. And I share this in my monthly membership. So if you're interested, I'll have the link in the description. It's the homemaking binder or planner is printable, and the one that I use is on my tablet, and it has lots of meal planning prep lists, some of which I use, some of which I don't. I put a lot of variety in there so you can pick and choose what works for your rhythms and your routines. It also has the block scheduling, weekly prep lists, just daily checklists and routines, just so much in there. It's not about pressure, it's about creating space for more peace and less stress. At the end of the day, when we sit around the table, hands folded in prayer, I often think of Galatians 6:9. And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Homemaking is good work. I think it's kingdom work. Folding socks, making meals, teaching lessons, gathering eggs, none of it is wasted. Friend, I believe you're doing holy work when you serve your family. Even when no one notices, God notices. He delights in the way you nurture your home and the people within it. So take a deep breath, pour yourself another cup of coffee if you need it. Rejoice in the small things. Homemaking isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about pointing your family to Christ through love, peace, and the joy that fills your home. May your homemaking today be filled with laughter, warmth, and the reminder that God has planted you right where you are for such a time as this.